Greetings, YouTube. This is the Garage Autonomist, and now I'm pretty sure that we're set to go here. I apologize for that. I have no idea what is going on. I had made a lot of different settings, and I did a really good test last week for specifically for buffering, and it's still I'll go live with it, and the next thing you know, it's still not working. So. All right, there we go. My Basie is in the house. My Basse, sorry. Okay, so I should be coming in okay. Again, Hangout seems to always work a lot better than the live stream. But I like the live. I've been wanting to use the live stream because OBS gives you an option of having more presentation. You can add different kinds of media to it, and I record fine. I've actually used it for recording, so not quite sure what the issue is there. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. Today's stream is just a lean in. I wanted to talk to everybody about what I've been up to. Why is there a bit of a slowdown in videos as of late on this channel? And I wanted to do a follow-up. Thank you, everybody. And I wanted to do a follow-up on a video that I had posted Saturday. Yeah, you're right, Mabase. I think the bit rate, I tried to play around with the bit rate, and I thought that with the settings that I had would improve it, but it did not. So I'm just going to have to figure out something else there to do. Oh, you know what? Give me just 1 second, guys. Hold on. Okay, I apologize for that. I had to let my Yep, I'm on a snowball. You are so right. I had to let my daughter in the house. Sorry. She forgot her keys. Okay, so here's the deal. I wanted to catch up with everybody. I wanted to catch up with everybody and let you all know what I've been up to, why there has been a slowdown on this channel in videos, something that I'm working on and I'm going to correct. Hello, Pure Butterfly Spirit, Bewildered Ape. Is that Etchus and who else? And Mabasai is here. I still gotta learn how to pronounce your name. But anyway, like I said, I was gonna try to explain to everyone why there's been a bit of a slowdown here on this channel. And I wanted to talk about my follow-up about post-human, or the post-human video, post-humanism video that I posted on Saturday. Now, I'm going to start with the post-human part because that should be the shortest part here, I guess. Now, I want to thank Phoenix and Phoenix Chastain and Manchis for their critiques on Tom Ford's words regarding us becoming a post-human society, rather us trying to chase this sort of ideal in terms of the ideal body, the ideal look. His viewpoint was skewed hugely, I think, basing more on how we're objectifying women, but not in a good way. I think that he had it more about how women are going for augmentation and shaping ourselves into this sort of machine-like, less organic look, or this sort of mannequin, if you will, look, but mainly based on male desire, or it's almost like the antithesis of the male gaze, or what the male gaze wants. That's where really what Manchese was pointing out. Now, his overall message for me was just really about what we're doing in terms of trying to go for an ideal look and taking away from our humanity, I guess, is a way of basically putting it. So I liked what he was trying to say. So yeah, the gender part, I guess, was the thing that I think that Phoenix and Manchese had a problem with, and based on what from their perspective, I actually have to agree. Now, I will give Ford some room of doubt that he may not have meant for that to be his main point. But as men are socialized to objectify women, he was objectifying them while at the same time critiquing society for objectifying women, which was really ironic. So I'll give you my take on how I see posthumanism, because the overall critique was in the right direction. Now, if some of you might remember, there was an old HBO show called Entourage. Okay, it was like one of my few, guilty pleasures. I thought it was a real comedy. I thought it was really funny. And one of the actors on the show, or rather one of the characters on the show, but played by Kevin Dillon, who, as we all know, is the older brother of Matt Dillon. And in the show, he plays the older brother of his more popular, of his more successful younger brother, who is also an actor. And the character that the Kevin Dillon character played was named Johnny Drama. Now, Johnny Drama was not very successful in Hollywood during his prime. And now that he's older, he's considering getting augmentation, believe it or not. Now, this augmentation, he wanted to get a pec job, which is basically getting fake chest, like a fake pectorals, like developed ones, to put in. And he wanted to get a calf job to replace his calves. Now, I thought that was some bullshit, like they just made that up in the script. And it fucking turns out that no, he actually was he was actually that shit is actually real. And the thing is that I see men who are now my age, men who are now over 45, and they're actually getting pec jobs, believe it or not. You don't hear a lot of people talking about this, but it's true. I heard two guys overhearing two guys talking about it when I was in the locker room. And hold on here. All right, I just want to make sure. Does everybody hear me? I guess. Yeah. Okay. Let's see here. So what and also you see a lot of older men now, they're taking steroids, they're taking testosterone boosters, all in the name of trying to reverse the natural change that men go through as they are aging. Instead of doing things like what I'm doing, which is trying to eat right, go to the gym 3 times a day. Did I say 3 times a day? 3 times a week. Things along those lines. There's actual bicep augmentation. So I feel like the Tom Ford video was not balanced, because if you want to talk about all humans trying to go through these changes of getting away from their normal organic selves and literally putting inorganic material in their bodies to look like this ideal, then it's crazy. And I mean, the fucking bicep augmentation is the shit that really freaked me out. I saw like videos of dudes getting it done. It's just weird. And there used to be an online game. Okay, cool. And it used to be an online game that I used to play. I lied. I thought that I didn't really play that many games, but this really wasn't a game. This was more like a virtual experience. If any of you remember, there was a game or a virtual network that you joined called Second Life. You create an alter ego, a 3D alter ego, and you can go and you can hang out with people, network with people, things of that nature. And hold on here. Sorry. Stupid desktop notifications. And one of the things, you know, you spend money, you could spend money or rather give money to your character. They were called Linden dollars, but you know, you paid real money on your credit card. And yeah, exactly. Oh, right. Okay. So Bewildered Ape remembers Second Life. But with the Linden dollars, you can go to these little stores in Second Life and you can buy, literally buy, you know, abs. You can buy a butt. You can buy, you can buy just a whole other body. And I feel like that's, and it's funny how everyone did that. And, you know, to make their own alter egos, which should be the complete opposite of how they probably really looked in real life. And they still felt like they needed to enhance it more or enhance their look more. So that's what I think Tom Ford was getting at with his critique, is that it would have been, but I think it just would have been far more powerful had he have included men in it as well. Now, I do want to add at this point that when women, with women, they have always had to undergone the knife for augmentation, and it's always in response to social pressures and male acceptance or the male gaze. And the thing is or to conform to the gaze, right? And so, but when do men do the same thing for the same reasons? I think it has more to do with ego and complete fear of being seen as an anemic old man, if you will. I just think that there's this fear, and you've got this company that's literally going on this crazy marketing campaign. Like, their ads are everywhere on the internet, and it's the Testamax guys, and you've probably seen them. These dudes are well in their 60s. They've got abs. They're like well built and everything, and they're literally trying to tell men over, you know, over 50 to go back to eating as much meat as possible, as much animal fat as possible, because that's going to raise their testosterone level. And if their testosterone level is raised, then then they will burn fat better. And of course, the other thing, of course, is their libido will shoot back up again, which I think that is all a hunk of shit. First of all, there's a lot of doctors already telling guys in their mid to late 40s, you need to lay off the fucking meat. You need to lay off grilling every night. The carcinogens in the meat, as long as you're eating fucked up ass meat, that's like the last thing you should be doing. There's all kinds of natural things you could be doing and eating to keep your libido up. I say the main thing is exercise. So just do that. Like, really? So, you know, it's just weird. Like, these guys are literally going on a huge marketing campaign to tell a bunch of older dudes to go on a complete reverse health-wise in order to look a certain kind of way. And I think it's bullshit. And the thing about it is that, but is this about societal pressure? I don't think it's the same way like it is for women. It's more like just dudes quite frankly, I think trying to chase after younger girls, which I mean, unless you have a lot of money, that's the only time that older man, younger woman thing ever works. So I think these guys just really need to get over it and just accept getting older and really just do what you can to do for your health so that you just don't kill over at 60 from poor health. That's all I got to say. So the thing here is that I'm kind of getting off subject. The thing about it is that besides the whole peacocking of men, now you've got a drug that's out where they're trying to stop periods. Okay. The menstrual cycle is not only is it a natural thing, it's a needed thing for the female body, as we all know. And this whole fucking thing. Okay. Oh, Elisa. Okay. I'm going to get to all the comments because you guys are saying some really great things. Who on earth would ever come up with the idea that women need to take a drug to stop their periods? I mean, like, I don't, I'm a man, I don't live with periods. I don't know what that's like. But I do know this. I think typically I did do enough research to know who really came up with the idea, but I could guarantee you it was a dude. Because I think only men would look at periods as being something so inconvenient or gross that it's something that needs to stop. It's something that needs to be controlled. But this is another good example of being post-human. You're altering your body to be a mannequin, to be a doll. It's like, it's just weird. Now, Pure Butterfly Spirit says she wants that drug. Well, okay. You're going to have to tell us why. So that's really all I have to say. I want to get into these comments because they're far more interesting. But it's just like what I'm trying to say is that I just wanted to follow up with that, I think that Tom Ford was onto something. I just don't think he went deep enough. And that's fine because it was only him being interviewed. He was asked a whole bunch of other questions. So he wasn't just talking about that. It wasn't like he did an essay and then he wanted to do some oral presentation based on that essay. Now, let's go into the comments section. Mabase says, it's capitalism. Old people are useless to capitalism. Yes, very much so. I think that when men are in a situation, them being the dominant group in the workforce, the one thing that happens is that when they get older, you've got younger guys, males, or younger people in general who will work cheaper and will work harder and will do more. And so I think that a lot of these guys get really insecure. Strange Fruit says, I love Tom Ford, the designer. Oh, shit. You know what? Let me go up so I get to these comments. But anyway, like I was saying, so I just wanted to back up what Mabasi says about capitalism. Capitalism definitely chews us up. It spits us out when we hit a certain age. And I think that men get this insecurity, about that. But rather than looking at it strictly in terms of class and in terms of the economic system that we're living in, they would rather think that this is more about their image of vitality. So that's a very good point about capitalism. Mabase is that it just says, well, it's only a very particular sort of person who is betrayed as having any worth. That's true. Elisa Kalma says, I can intuitively tell veganism raised my testosterone levels, and a lot of educated training health freaks say that too. And the manly meat eating cliche is funny. Yeah, exactly. Which is, the next subject I'm about to get on. It's a bit of an announcement. Pure Butterfly Spirit says, I want that drug. Yeah, she says that women feel it's inconvenient as well, especially when you're hitting 50. Right, because I think that you're in that area where you're still having it, but you haven't had menopause yet. So I know my wife, she's not anywhere near 50, but she's she's definitely having that feeling of being annoyed with her periods. Pure Butterfly Spirit says, I'm finished with childbearing years. I don't want to be inconvenienced by periods. I think my wife is at that same place, Pure Butterfly Spirit. Is that Etcha says, if women don't have periods, they take less time off work and are more productive. Makes sense under capitalism that you'd want to stop that. Okay, I didn't think about that. Strange Fruit says she loves Tom, or he or she, sorry, loves Tom Ford, the designer. Is that Etchus says that Pure Butterfly Spirit, a lot of kinds of birth control do that. That is true. A lot of birth control, yeah, they do that, right? The implant eventually does, and the injection. Big J Triple X, welcome, says, I wish I were home. I guess he means he wish he was here to participate. Strange Fruit says, less meat, less food, only organic. And Bewildered Ape says, augmentations age quickly. So it also becomes a maintenance problem. It looks bad if you cannot meet the cost. Exactly. And Bewildered Ape, I would just love to know how these guys are going to look in another 30 years. Now they've added, they've added, or should I say they've decreased the years that they are by trying to give themselves these powerful looking physiques at the age of 60. But the thing is that you can't stop wrinkling. And the muscles underneath, these fake muscles, these silicone muscles, or whatever the fuck these things are, that shit is going to atrophy sooner or later as they get old too. So they're going to look like weirdos, man. They're just going to look like, human beings trying to hide balloons and shit up under their fucking skin. It's just going to be weird looking. Strange Fruit says yoga and Pilates and rowing keep a body lean and fit. I do a lot of the rowing. I'm not there with the yoga part yet, but I might go there one day. Organic is a spook. It's really not any more environmentally friendly or healthy. Yeah, I've been looking at this documentary called What the Health. I haven't finished looking at it, but they're starting to talk a lot about how organic is not real. Is that it just says Unnatural Vegan has a good video on that. I'll check out Unnatural Vegan. Strange Fruit says my friends with breast enhancement need to have them replaced every 4 to 5 years. See, so Bewildered Ape and Strange Fruit, I had no fucking idea that enhancements, that augmentations have an age to them. I had no idea that you have to change this shit out. I mean, and with all the scarring that you probably have to do changing that shit out, you probably have to look like Frankenstein or a fucking map, by the time you're 60 or 70. Jenny Kiss and Bewildered Ape are laughing. Is that it just says balloon hiding contest? Oh, at my balloon thing, yeah. Let's see here. Strange Fruit says, where I live, organic is easily accessible still. GMOs are costly. They sure are. Pure Butterfly Spirit says natural lotion prevent wrinkles or lessen, or they lessen with, I never could pronounce that. Is that jojoba or jojoba? Shea butter. Now, Jenny says, have you watched the Defiantness yet? No, I have. The Defiant ones. No, I haven't looked at that show yet. Not yet. All right. So now I want to go into, you guys can keep talking. I'll go back in and read your comments. I just want to go into some stuff about the channel. Okay. So I'm pretty sure you all have noticed that there's been a bit of a slowdown on my videos, and it's not intentional. What's been going on is, to make a long story short, I'm teaching myself Adobe Premiere, and I'm making a major change by switching back over to the Windows side of my computer. I'm going to be still in Linux, using Linux, but I'll be typically using Kali Linux for things that I will not be boring you guys here. But the desktop version of Linux, which is called Mint Linux, I was using all that to do my video production. And I did a major update to that partition. And for some reason, OpenShot, which is sort of like Windows Movie Maker, but for Linux, stopped working. Now, I after some investigation and some research, I fixed it. But during that time period, while I was working on this shit, I came to a conclusion that I really have sort of outgrown OpenShot. I think it's a good program, but there's new things that I want to do with my videos. Hey, what's up, Robert J. Powell? Welcome. There's new things that I want to do with my videos, and there's new styles that I want to explore, and I've just outgrown OpenShot. So I'm going to be doing more work with Adobe Premiere, and I figure the best thing for me to do, and you know, hey, I have access to it, or rather I have it now, but I have access to it. I don't have to spend crazy amounts of money on it. So that's where I'm at. So it's just going to be a little bit of a slowdown, but not that much. I have these great video ideas that I want to do, but I just don't want to waste them anymore on a program that I'm not feeling anymore. And but at the same time, you know, I'm just going to do exactly what I did when I first started this channel. You know, I never worked with OpenShot. I've never actually done any form of video editing prior to doing this channel. And yet I was able to sit through and teach myself it as much as possible. And I do think that I have a knack, and I do think I have a talent for this shit. So that, you know, which of course, it doesn't really matter what tools you use. If you have a talent for it, then you should be fine. And so I think I'll do better with Premiere. So that's what's going on. It's not the end of the world or anything like that. I will be definitely making some videos upcoming this week, but I just want to let you guys know what's been happening. I've just been taking stock in the tools that I have that I've been using for the last 2 years, and I just feel like it's just time to change up. All right, so let's go back to the comment section. Yeah, so the Defiant Ones. I have not checked that show out yet, Jenny. I will. I know. Actually, I don't really know what it's about. I know that they cover artists, so I'll see what's up with that. And let's see what else here. Let's go back up. Okay, right. So Big JX says, okay, no. Is that it just says, has had a lot of bullshit, horrible views about disabled people. Plus, he is a supporter. Oh, he's is that Etchus is talking about Unnatural Vegan. Is a supporter of capitalism. Her health/veganism videos are good, but anything that borders on social issues, it's hell. Big J Triple X says pro-black equals black race realist. I actually just feel like they're just in a fucking fantasy world. The pro-blacks, they're just a strange group altogether. Strange Food says used to love fish, now with Fukushima and over farming, I eat less fish. Bewildered Ape says Premiere is nice. Oh, he's nice because I know I think Bewildered Ape uses Premiere. I think a lot of people do. And Bewildered Ape's work is fucking phenomenal, especially as of late. His videos are just fucking crazy, man. And I was sitting there thinking to myself, he was one reason why I wanted to do the switch over to Premiere. And worst person on the internet, his video this past Saturday was another reason why I wanted to go ahead and tell you guys what's been going on my end. Because because I was kind of feeling a little egotistical too, like, oh, I'm trying to get all professional and stuff, but I think that I had to break down and realize what worst person on the internet was saying. Is like, I got some good shit to say. I think that the production level needs to match what I have to say. So, on that level, I'm feeling that. Is that Etcha says, I answered above, you might have missed it. Elisa Kalma says, I'm a follower of her and I've never seen UV comment unnatural vegan comment about race. Robert J. Powell already said hello to, and he says hello to everybody else. Okay. So Big J Triple X says that listen to Umar Johnson and compare him to an alt-writer. Big J Triple X is 100% correct on that. It's funny how the pro-blacks, or rather the Afrocentrics, I don't really like to use the word pro-black too much. I mean, technically, some people would say that I'm pro-black, but that level of nationalism that these people are always, it's the same thing with them. They're definitely they're definitely sexist. They're definitely they're definitely homophobic. All those things that I'm not. I mean, and I'll tell you right now, the Ankh. The Ankh right. Oh, damn, Big J. Yeah. There you go. The Ankh right. He has that right. I love that in the title. He needs to use that shit for real. Elisa Kalma says, we just got carried away. Don't pay attention to our comments. But Premiere's good shit, but so damn expensive. You're right. I'm lucky in that I'm lucky in that I have access to that kind of software at my job. So what I did, I stole the shit and I put it on my own computer. That's all that, that's the deal. I mean, everyone else will have will have their ways of getting a hold of it if they can't afford to buy it. And you know what those ways are, but I can't go into detail there. Not on this live chat anyway. And let's see here what everybody else here is saying. Ankh right, you should copyright that. Yeah. Jenny Kiss says she stole it. Okay, so now here's the thing. My wife and I have definitely decided to go for a more plant-based diet. I know I'm flipping back and forth, but I'm kind of done with the technical part. And mainly because we're really sick of meat. We're just kind of done with it. Also because of some things that we've been reading lately, and just we're getting up there. We're both going to be in our 50s soon. So in a couple of years. Well, I don't want to say a couple. In a few years, I'll put it that way. Or I will be. My wife is actually about 3 years younger than me, or 4 years younger than me. But still, I mean, it's just not something that we want to do anymore. We're not like the holistic vegans, which I don't have a problem with them. They have every right to their viewpoint on speciesism and stuff like that. And I don't wish to invalidate their viewpoints. For us, it's mainly just strictly about health and diet. Our youngest daughter, who does not like meat at all, and we've never really fed it to her. We've never like shoved it down her throat, literally. We've never done that. So she's actually on board, and quite frankly, she's a little happy about it. Oldest daughter's pissed, but she's like, look, I only got one more year with you fuckers, and then I'm out of here. So she doesn't really care. Is that it just says, how long have you and your wife been together? How did you meet? Fluffy question. That's fine, because I've actually talked about the main things that I wanted to talk about, and we've got 15 more minutes. I can't believe I filled up. I can't believe I filled up this much time. My wife and I have been together for now 23 years. We didn't, but we got married 5 years into our relationship. Um, let's see, we met. Well, she was going to school in Houston. I was living in Houston because my mother and my sister and I moved to Houston, Texas in 1979. But when I met my wife, she was a student at University of Houston. She was a journalist for the school paper, and she met me interviewing me and a group of people because we were in the local Refuse and Resist chapter of. Oh, okay. Oh, Phoenix is here. Cool. We were in the local. I was in the local chapter of Refuse and Resist. So she wanted to come and interview me and my then ex best friend, who was also a student at University of Houston. I was not a student. I wasn't even in college at the time. I was just working. And she interviewed us, and that's how we met. So, we've been together that long. That's how we met. I think. What was the other question? Yeah, that's how. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I think I answered all the questions. So that's how long we've been together, and that's how we met. Let's see here. Jenny says, "Hello, Phoenix." Bewildered Ape says, "Black and white social identity in the U.S. is odd. Where I'm from, people are usually identified by ethnicity. I found it strange when an immigrant from form, well, an immigrant from only gave me the option of skin color white. Oh, an immigration form. I'm sorry, only gave me the option of skin color, which is white. Right. Um, that's interesting, Bewildered Ape. So I guess because if I'm not mistaken, you were both from Australia and New Zealand, or a citizen of both of those countries. But if I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure a form there would say something like, "Are you Maori or are you Aboriginal?" versus "Are you brown or are you white?" You're right. The United States still goes on race classification by skin color. Now, some of those forms should have changed over the years because now you don't have black, white. You now have Caucasian. They break it down like Caucasian, African American, uh, non, what is it, non-white, Hispanic, something like that. So they kind of break it down that way. But then again, I've never seen an immigration form of the United States, so maybe that's still going by skin color. Elisa Kalma says, "It's buffering for me only, or what? Oh, am I buffering, guys? Let's see. Okay, let me see here. Mabase says that it's a sacrifice European immigrants had to take to be part of the ruling class in this country. True. There's a book also. I didn't read the book, but I know there's a book called Before We Were White, and it was about Jewish immigrants who were not really considered white. And the same thing could be said about Italian Americans or Italian immigrants. There was a point in history when they too were not considered white. It seems that the only people who were ever white in this country at some point were indeed WASP. And so some immigrants would lie and just say that they were Anglo-Saxon, things like that, just because they knew that they were going to be treated differently coming here. But I think that the Jews weren't white until the 70s. Exactly. Strange fruit. Exactly. Let's see here. Uh-oh. I'm missing some comments here. Um, okay, good. So people are saying that I'm not buffering, maybe just for one person. Bewildered Ape says, I'm Kiwi. New Zealand forms usually have Maori. Okay, yeah, right. So New Zealand forms usually have Maori, New Zealand European, Pekka, Tongan, right? The Tongan group, and Chinese, etc. Right, right. Got you. Yeah, they don't do that breakdown here. Abasi says the invention of the white race before we were white. I'm going to. I haven't read this book in wow, yeah, 23 years, maybe even more than that. I'd say about 25 years. Called The Invention of the White Race. It was written by an anarchist, I believe. I'm forgetting his name, but he goes into a lot of that about the invention of whiteness. And yes, there is a book called How the Irish Became White. I have not read that one, but I do remember it. So yeah, that's good. So yeah, we're going to be making this health change. Um, just to do a recap, because everybody thought it was funny when my oldest daughter said, "Fuck you people, I'm out of here." So I'll live on a plant-based diet for as long as possible. And also to recap, yes, I'm going to be going into the Adobe Premiere world. Now, let me just finish up with some more comments. Pure Butterfly Spirit says, no one is white. Few are Caucasian from the Caucasus Mountains. Yes, that's true. Yeah, Robert J. Powell. Yeah, dude, she's yeah, my oldest daughter's a trip, man. She's funny that way. Lisa Kalma says, I'm literally white as fuck as a Scandinavian goth. Phoenix says, I'm going to write a book called How to Outrun a Nuclear Cloud. How to outrun a nuclear cloud and still smile. I'll be the first to buy that book, Phoenix. You know that. Take your time and ease into it. Don't just go straight. Yeah. Is that etchus? That is our plan. We're not. I think the first thing that we said is that if we just do just this straight jump in, next thing you know, we're going to suddenly start to freak out and start eating hamburgers by the truckloads and shit. So you're right. We're going in slow and with moderation, but the goal is for us to go completely plant-based diet. So yeah, you guys, I've got about 7 more minutes and then I'm going to go to bed because unfortunately I've got major projects at work and I just need to get it. I've been getting into work early so I can get them done. Mabase says Caucasians as a term is from Kant, who declared that the mountains were where humanity had to originate because they have the most handsome features. Interesting. And is that Etcha says, I can't believe it at Mabase. Pure Butterfly Spirit says, let me finish up the first blast. Don't want to exist after that. Mabase, fascinating stuff, really. Jenny Kiss, are you religious? Am I religious? No. I'm an atheist. I've been an atheist, I'd say, since I was 34. Yeah. So I think I've been an atheist now for a little bit over 10 years, for about 11 years. Yeah. And Phoenix says, oh no, do this again soon. Yes, that's what I want to talk about. So Thursday, I believe I should be good for Thursday, but I'm not going to put an announcement up until sometime tomorrow. I just want to make sure that I can do it. I think on Thursday is what I want to do is do a hangout and see if I can get Pure Butterfly Spirit on. Pure Butterfly Spirit had asked me a question, and the question was, what is my vision of socialism? I think that it's one of those questions that I think all socialists should get and should want to answer, because every time we get asked that kind of question, we go directly into quoting Marx, or we go directly into using a lot of Marxist terminology. And so people who are trying to get their head wrapped around would socialism look? How would it look in real life? Just how would it look? And I think that when they ask this question, and it is hard to answer because we don't have any really good examples right now. I mean, some people would be pissed off at me saying that because of Cuba, right? But Hey Elm City overdosed on truth. Okay, I got you. That's another screen name. But most people don't know what that looks like. So I'm going to do, if everything looks right, and I'll know by Wednesday afternoon, tomorrow afternoon, I will know if I can do a hangout on Thursday, and I'm just going to call it "What Would Socialism Look Like?" Answering Pure Butterfly Spirit. And she, I'm going to go ahead and throw the link in the chat room that night. So if other people want to join in, they can. But I'm going to try to answer her as best as possible with that question. And I wanted to do a video on it, but again, because of everything, it's one of the videos that I promised 2 months ago. So what I'm going to do is make sure that I answer her question, and hopefully we'll do that on this Thursday. So I'll find out, like I said, as soon as tomorrow afternoon, and then I'll at least post an announcement. So I'll do that. I really want to thank everybody for coming in here. Thank you for the patience for my earlier. I'm just so frustrated. Live stream, I just buffer. It just immediately goes into buffer mode. And I don't know why it does it, even after I've done some tweakings to the settings. So I'm just going to have to test it, because I do love using an encoder that allows you to do multimedia. And that way you guys just don't have to be bored looking at my icon. I wanted to have pictures up. I wanted to be able to switch over to some video footage, and all that good stuff. And, quite frankly, I just think it's my internet. I really do. I think that it's only good for, downloading files, uploading files, just stuff like that. So, okay, I'm buffering. Well, that's okay. I've only got 2 more minutes left anyway, but I know that it's been performing okay. But yeah, that earlier situation. So I want to thank everybody for having patience with me on that. And one more thing that I wanted to bring up. Of course, you all don't live here in Harlem. You don't live in New York, but Whole Foods is now in Harlem. Now, this should not be. Okay, I get the joke. And Indigo Child is also Elm City. Elm City is in here under three different under 3 different identities. I don't know if any of you guys have seen this in the other gentrified neighborhoods of where you're living, but Whole Foods has finally moved into Harlem. And, we talked about this back when Curious and myself and Vuk, when we used to do our Hangouts channel at Food for Thought before it got shot down, but flagged down. But we talked about the imbalance, if you will, of the health industry, and how they come off like they're so hippie and they're so holistic and they're about feeding people and feeding the world. And it's like, you can't afford to eat healthy. You can't afford to eat healthy. And if you're poor. And so Whole Foods is now in Harlem. It's going to be like a mega store. They're going to open, I think, officially in a week or so. And it's just nuts. It's crazy. And you know, the only people who are going to really be able to afford to eat there are people like myself, my family, and of course the mostly gentrifiers who've moved into Harlem. So, it sucks. But all right, let me read these last comments. Is that Etcha says they're gentrifying my neighborhood and they put up a load of bougie murals to cover the graffiti. Bewildered Ape says, I was reading about food distribution recently, and poorer neighborhoods tend to not have access to healthier foods. True. Indigo Child says, because that Elm City channel got flagged, so I will be using the other accounts. That sucks. That sucks. Sorry about that, Elm City. Mabase says, you should be able to afford it if they make out, then you should be able to afford it. They make out like bandits by using fucking prison labor. Damn, I didn't know that. Bewildered Ape says, also, I was reading that in New York, there are less supermarkets and poorer. Yes, that's very true, Bewildered Ape. If they close down for good, and you just have lesser ones. I remember telling this when I was a guest on New Possibilities channel 2 months back, that we're seeing less and less grocery stores in our neighborhood. Robert J. Powell says, I'm not sure if that will be if it will be closer than the Yonkers location for my mom's Whole Foods. If your mother lives in the Bronx, then the Yonkers location is going to be closer for her. If she lives, well, I don't know, if she lives in the lower Bronx, then the Harlem location will be closer for her. That's all I got to say about that. All right, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. This was a great conversation. I remember the earlier days when I used to do hangouts and they were just nobody in or one person in there. Oh, right, you're right. Okay, so if your mother lives in Riverdale, that's North Bronx. I mean, damn, she damn near lives near a forest. Hence why, that's our little joke why we call it Riverdale. The elves. Anyway, but yes, she's closer to the Yonkers location, Robert J. Powell. So the Yonkers location is our best bet. Pure Butterfly Spirit says, got to start creating small social groups and growing our own food. That is the alternative. Pure Butterfly Spirit, you are correct. Now, with all these damn grocery stores, thank you, Jenny. I love you too. I love everybody here in this chat. Thank you for showing up. And yes, Pure Butterfly Spirit, I'm going to go into, we should talk a little bit more about the social groups and growing our own food when I do the talk on socialism. So thank you, everybody. This was awesome. This was a great showing, and I will see you Thursday. Peace.